All right, well, I thought about what I was going to do, and hopefully I won't change my mind because, I'm kind of infamous for that. So we're going to make one of these little gadgets here, which I'm all excited about. So first things first, we're going to do a slimline. So I cut it 8.5 by 7, and we need to score it at 3.5. So I have this We Are Memory Keepers new scoring tool that is just fabulous. It has this, I don't know if you can see, kind of this raised, it's not a blade, but it's kind of, you could cut yourself on it if you pressed hard enough. And then it has this little arm that comes out, goes all the way to 12 inches. But when we got these in the store, Shirley and I were both like, really? What? A scoring tool? We have those. What's the deal? So we were kind of like, okay, whatever. And of course, she likes to taste test everything. So we got it out and played with it, and oh my goodness. If you do a lot of scoring, if you make like albums or a ton of cards, this is terrific. So it comes with a scoring tool down here at the bottom. I'll pull that out. And you notice it's a little different. It has this little notch here on both sides. And actually, one is a little bit bigger than the other. And you see how wide that one is, and then that one's a lot more narrow. So just depending on what you want to do. So this needs to be scored at 3.5. So that is, well, that's exactly 3.5 right there. Do I have it on the right side? Yeah, let me make sure. Yeah, this is 7. I doubt myself now. So this is, that's a 0. So yeah, this is 7. So we need to score this at, 3.5. Not 3. 3.5. Let me make sure that's flush. So we'll line it up at 3.5. If you can see there, right there in the middle of that. Push it snug up against there. And then what you're going to do is take this little tool and start up here at this top where that little notch is. And it's going to actually fit right over that little blade part. Okay, it's really not a blade, but for the lack of a better term, we line this up again, 3.5. So you're going to start up here and press, and oh my goodness. I don't know if you can see that. But you know how when you score something, we're taught to fold towards the hump. But on this one, you don't. You fold away from the hump. Okay, you fold into it. And this makes such a beautiful, beautiful score line on anything that you do. And we've tried it on really thin paper, we've tried it on thick paper, and it's all just fabulous. But like I said, this just fits, that little notch, crevice just fits right in there. Okay. Anyway, it's fabulous. I'm loving it. Been using it a lot, and it's awesome. So I get that back in there. All right, so we have our card base. I'm going to open this up, and I have this little piece of paper here that's going to be actually what we're going to stamp on. So I cut it just a hair smaller so it'll have a little white border around. And I'm really, really, really loving this flower stamp. Can't even get my words out here. So I thought we would stamp this maybe a couple of times across here. And then we would use these little jobbers that kind of look like flowers. These things, it's going to end up looking like this. We could use those as a little accent, and then they open up and reveal a note or a little surprise or something. So I cut those out of this paper, and I cut one this way and I cut one this way. And you see all the little score marks on there, and we're going to be folding that pretty soon and making this neat little, it's almost like a, do they even have a name for it? Flower option, folding flower together, folds, pinwheel shape is what they're calling it. But I remember my grandmother having a leather coin purse that closed like this. So anyway, that's going to be really cool. So with this stamp set, I don't want it really in your face, and I thought about embossing it and all this, but I thought we could stamp it across, and instead of trying to color it or, ink up this, that, or the other, I have these Kaleidoscope ink pads. So you can push them together if you want it closer together or further apart. And we can ink it up with this, and it'll be different colors. Then we wouldn't have to worry about all this. Thought that'd be kind of cool. Plus it matches the flower colors. Excuse me, let me scoot up here. My little perch here. All right, I think I'm going to use... No, I'm not going to use a stamping platform. I will use a stamping mat, though. Let's go ahead and do this first. Hopefully this will look good. It may not. You know how it goes. So let me get... This is just a real thick foam mat that I stamp on, so that way your stamp has something to kind of go into and it's not just on a hard surface. And a lot of times hard surfaces are not even. So and of course I hinged my carrier. My packing tape. All right, let's get a stamping block. Kind of even this up on the bottom here. Press it down, make sure you don't get any air bubbles, because that can kind of mess up your stamping. I always recommend with most stamps, ink it up and stamp it a couple of times on a scrap piece of paper, because sometimes they have a coating and things on it. But with Diamond Press, I have never, ever, ever had any problems, and I don't ever stamp off. So anyway, all right, well, let's ink this baby up. I'm going to shut this. So what I'm going to do is run this across. I want more of the, see, of course, the leaves and things are on the bottom. So there's green, blue, purple, and red. And we'll get a little bit of the orange, I'm sure, but I'm going to stamp that down, press it down, ink that up. You can see the ink on there. Move it over. Ink this up. And move it over again. So you have that. All right, looks like it's inked up pretty well. If not, I mean, you can, it's not rocket science, and you're not trying to make it perfect by any means. All right, let's just stamp along the bottom here. Stamp off just a little bit. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, we'll change things up. All right, let's see, make sure we got it all. Oh, cool. I like that. Let's try it again. So ink it up really well. Move it on down. There we go. And we'll come in here. Even that up a little bit. Stamp. Like I said, who knows? We may end up with two different cards here. Oh, I like that. We could even do a little bit more there if we wanted to. Ink up just a smidge. Do a little bit. Yeah. I like. Yep. All right. And then I usually have a scrap piece of paper. And this is really good enough on a lot of these stamps. And it's clean. All right. So let's put this up, put this back on. I just discovered those when I bought that Crafter's Estate. And she had those and lots of other inks and lots of other items. Beautiful, thousands literally of wood mount stamps. All right, so let's set this aside and let's get down to, where's my instructions? This part. All right, well, since this one's going to be easier to see right now, we're going to do this one. Okay, you see all the score marks. All right, so on this, we cut okay, we're going to fold at all score lines. Okay, fold score lines, petals forwards, gather the petals. Okay. Myself, when you have a lot of score lines like this, I'll just go through and fold it. So that way it's going to be, because this is really going to twist up. So that way it'll be a lot easier. Okay. And I'm just folding along all the little score lines here that are this way. Okay. So we got all those. Yes. All right. So the ones here, okay, are going to go out. Okay, this way. So let's go through and squeeze all of those. Like I said, these are great score lines, and they fold just very easily. Okay, so this is what we have, kind of a bowl shape, little flower starting. All right, so with this, okay, we're going to grab one and we're going to twist it in a little bit. Okay, we're going to grab the next one, twist it in a little bit. Okay, you see what we're doing? This one, we're going to grab it and twist. And the next one, it's hiding under there. We're going to grab it, maybe. There we go. And twist. I know this is what it's looking like, kind of funny, but just keep grabbing and twisting. Grab it. And it's a little difficult at first because, like I said, some of those are not quite folded in yet. Twist. Grab the next one. Twist. Oh, we're getting there. And looky there. How neat is that? All right. And we're going to do another one so you can see. All right. So this is what we have. I went through and just folded on the main score lines and then went through and pinched these. These are going to go out. Okay, just like the picture shows here. Okay, they're going to go out. I pinched all those so it would be easier to do. Okay, so that's what you have. Kind of this star shaped. And then once you fold one, the rest will kind of follow suit. And that's what these other score lines, they're going to give and continue to fold in. Okay, so that one. And then see how what that looks like? Just remember, you're going to pinch it up. Pinch it. That's going to fold in. Okay, so see how it's starting to overlap? And your next one. And then the rest of them just kind of fall in. And then you just squeeze it and give it a good score. How cute is that? All right, let's do this one. Okay, so I cut this the opposite direction because I want this to be on the inside. So you don't really even have to see the score lines. You just start folding and it just kind of tells you which way it wants to go. Okay. Like that. I think we got, okay, did all that. Okay, now these petals are all going to be pinched out. Okay, so you're going to pinch it like this. Okay, pinch this one like this, because there's score marks you're following. Pinch this one, and this one, And this one. Okay. All right, so this is what we have. It kind of looks like a bowl. Okay, this is what it looks like on the back side. Okay, so like I said, these are going to pinch like this and then twist. That's what these little score lines are for, is allowing it to fold over. Okay, and then the next one you're going to pinch and then fold over. Okay, so here's our first one, and it's going to stick out, kind of funny looking. Then your next one, and then that's what it looks like. Get this one and pinch it. Kind of poke that under. The next one. See how it just starts doing its thing? That's going to fold over. And then this next one. These are going to go in. And give it a good smush. You can even take your bone folder and squish it really well. And there's that one. Oh, that needs to be squished a little better. So the trick is, like I said, be sure and fold everything really well. You can use your bone folder as you go, where I was just using my hand when I went through. Folded this over if you want to use your bone folder and get that really well. This one. And then on this, so that might be kind of hard because, you know, it doesn't bend all the way, but kind of tuck that in like that. Use your bone folder. And then once you fold it all together the first time, then it's really easy after that. Because see, everything just wants to go. Remember how all these go out? Kind of a little star shaped. And then it really, if you just kind of squeeze it, that's what it wants to do. How cute is that? I'm loving this. All right, well, I cut out a couple of little hearts that I thought we could put on the inside. I don't know if they're sentiments or not that'll fit in there, but let's see. Is there anything that small? Nope. No, but we can just put the little heart in there. So when they open it up, and you could even write something, but we could put a little heart right there. Let me get some glue. How fun is that? Oh my goodness. I wasn't expecting it to be so cool, but it is. Okay, let's open up this one. And here's another little heart. Like I said, you could even write you a little message all through here. Write something here, and you could put little words at each little folding spot. I mean, there's a lot you could do with this. All right, so there's little hearts in there. Little hidden gems. So like I said, once you've done it, it just naturally wants to go like that. So if you kind of start squeezing it, see how it just wants to go. Okay, same way with this. Just kind of start squeezing it together. Make sure all those little stars are like that. And then, isn't that neat? All right, so this is what I was thinking. Let's see if it's going to work. Well, I mean, it'll work, but let's see if it'll look good. So I thought about this here. And, oh, we could even cover up. Let's see. Since they are kind of good size, we could just do one. Cover up that flower. And then once you have an envelope for a little while, it'll flatten out a little bit more. And then they could open this up. It will be attached, but they can open it up, and there's your little heart. And then see, it just goes right back together. I think we need to mat it, though, with something else. Maybe a green or a pink. Let me grab another color, and I'll have to trim this down a smidge more, but I think that would just look a little better and anchor it down a little more with another mat. I love the mats. I just think I'd pull it in better. And then that, you could even ink up the edges with a little bit of pink. to kind of make that stand out a little bit more. All right, well, let me grab another piece of paper and trim it down and make another mat, and then we'll have that and we'll glue it all together. All right, so I cut actually 2 mats, and at work, one of the girls, she's retired now, but what we used to do, you know, I'd go find paper and we wanted mats, and we couldn't decide on, do we want, you know, this way, that way, and so we would tell the other person, who, whatever, you know, if it was her project, I'd say, okay, look away. And then I would mat this up and then say, okay, turn around. And then see what color she saw first and what she liked. Then I'd have her turn around again and I would mat it, say a different way, like this. And then I'd say, okay, turn around. And then, you know, what did you see first? What do you like? And it works every time. So it's kind of hard to do it by yourself, you know, because you're trying to hold it out and all that. But this is what I decided, so I'm going to try to go with it. So I like the pink, and then this purpley blue. I cut just where there's just a little bit of a border. And then this one that we stamped on. Well, can't tell because I keep moving it. But anyway, like this. So we'll get all that all glued down. I think it just makes everything pop. And then this, I got to thinking it's a little plain. It blends in, which is kind of good. But what if we inked the edges? See what that looks like. If it doesn't look good, then we'll just make another one. So I pulled out some picked raspberry because I thought that looked like a good one. And I'm going to use my iCrafter. These are actually brushes. They're not daubers. They're actual brushes. And what's nice is they're color-coded, so you keep all your pinks together, your reds, your blues, etc. You can either put them on your finger, which, I mean, they're big, but hold them like this, or if you want to just hold them like this. Either way is fine. Oh, and they do stack if you wanted to stack them together. And then they do make a cap for the top, you know, if you wanted caps for each one of them, or if you want to stack them all together, and then the last one on the end, you know, won't be covered up, so you can have a little cap for it. Anyway, I just think that's pretty cool. And that they're brushes. I like the idea that they're actual brushes. So, all right, let's see what this looks like. Get a little ink on there. And let's see what's the best way to do this. We'll just go like this, a little on the edges. Try not to get it elsewhere, just a little. Let's see if we open this up. Am I going to remember how to do it? I guess we could just do it like, but I don't know which way it's going to fold. Well, we know we need it on these edges. Maybe what if we just go all the direction like this? There we go. That should work out. This little area. So we have all the little edges there. So now we need the inside edges here. So I guess if we go around like this. Just don't want to get it, there we go, everywhere where we don't need it. Know what I mean, Vern? We don't have to do a lot, just a little. When in doubt, just do it all, I guess. And if you'd rather use a sponge, then use a sponge. No big deal. And like I said, it's not supposed to be perfect. We just want a little color because our flowers aren't perfect. All right. Remember, make your little stars like that. And then just kind of push in on a couple of areas and there you go. Yeah, that gives it just a little something there. All right, let me put this away. And you clean those brushes just like you would the picket fence brushes. Just have an old rag or a paper towel or something and then just gently rub it. You know, I kind of go this way, that way, and back and forth. And that way if you go from a dark pink to a light pink, you know, but you can clean it off just a little bit. You don't need to wash them because they're so dense. They'll take forever to dry, and there's just no reason to. All right, so let's start gluing these mats down. And I can't tell you if it's 1/4 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, or any of that, because I just trim a little bit until, I measure a little bit on my cutting board. I have a Fiskars, I think it's called a precision something cutter. Anyway, it's one of those big ones with the rotary blade that you never have to sharpen, and it is fabulous. Okay. And you can cut literally little slivers. All right. We want to get that as close as we can. Get that down. And then our next layer, and you may like the pink next to the one that we stamped on. And that's just fine. That should be your card, or whatever other color you decide to use. But it is fun, like I said, if you mat something up and then look away and then look back, it does make a difference. Okay. And you could even ink around these edges if you wanted to. Like I said, the sky is the limit. You're just limited by your imagination or what you can find on Pinterest or YouTube, right? We have a lot of people that come in the store and see a sample and go, I want everything to make that card right there. And there's a lot of people that are not, they're crafty, but they're just not great at coming up with ideas on their own, which a lot of people are that way. But they can sure make a pretty card. But like I said, that's why we have YouTube. That's why we have Pinterest. That's why, we allow pictures to be taken in our shop, which a lot of places don't. I'm going to need that. Because you're not going to remember. You see all these samples and you think, oh, I'm going to make that. I can do that. And you probably can. But when you get home, you think, oh, what was that? What color? So anyway, all right. Well, let's glue this down. We want to make sure our heart, okay, is in the right spot. In more ways than one, right? Get a good amount of glue on there. And we're just going to put it over that flower. And we're going to hold that down. And I always like to do something on the inside and on the envelope to kind of tie it all together. Let's hold that for just a minute. And let's see what we have over here that we could, a little something. There's another little flower, a little something. What is that one? That has hearts. So we could stamp a sentiment, or we could just ink up a little bit of this and put on the inside. All right, that should be good. All right, so that's what that looks like. And then you can leave a note that says, open up. And inside there's your little note or your heart. And they could even leave that open if they wanted to. Then you just smush it together. Like I said, you just start, because once you put it together and smush it down good, it wants to go that way. I mean, see how easy? Very easy. All right. Well, I'm not going to do a sentiment, but I am going to do the flowers. Just a little piece of the flower for the inside. Like I said, to kind of tie it together. So which side do we want? Let's do this one. So let's get this out. And we're just going to ink up. Let's see the top of that. And this. Which we're going to go off the edge anyway. Okay. So we need to open that up. Put that back on. And then scrap paper. And we want this just a little bit right here. Hold that down for a minute. ABC 1, 2, 3. That's just so it can get in there really well, in my opinion. And look, I like that. And then have your sentiment and write your note. Let that dry for a minute. So yeah, I'm pleased with this. Let me stamp that off a little bit. All right, well, like I said, that's not hard at all. And I hope that helped you a little bit to make this little flower thing. And I like that. Something a little different. So until next time, like I said, all these cards that we make, send them to somebody, make their day. Just, you know, thinking of you with your name. That's all you got to put. I mean, it's just like, oh, people love that. So send some happy mail. All right, until next time. Bye for now.